How many points will each NFL team score next season? Let's get into it. First team on our list is going to be the Arizona Cardinals. I do think they'll be a little bit better, but they have some limitations. Kyler Murray's probably not going to play a full season. The run game isn't excellent. Marvin Harrison should be better. Overall, though, I think this will probably be a good offense, slightly above average in that 22 to 25 points per game range, but I do not suspect they'll be great. 15 points per game, it's going to be the New England Patriots. Look, I know they got Diggs. I think this is going to be a team that runs the ball a lot. I don't think they'll turn it over a lot. I think they'll be relatively efficient-ish for being 15-point per game scores. And I think they'll be drafting a new quarterback next season. So there's that. Kansas City Chiefs. Now, I do think they will be a good offense next season. I think they're going to lose some games, though. I think part of the reason they weren't scoring a lot last year was they were leaning on their defense, they're leaning on their run game, and they're winning late. A lot of field goals. I think the Chiefs' defense will not be as good, and I think there's going to be more early game turnovers, so I think they'll be clawing back with the passing game. Rashee Rice probably will be back. I'm not really sure what's going on with that legal situation. I think the Chiefs will be scoring in that 25 to 27 point range. Pittsburgh Steelers 18 points per game just feels right. It just feels perfect for Aaron Rodgers and DK Metcalf. No Pickens. They got rid of Najee. The offense will be okay. I'm not saying it's going to be horrendous. They'll score 20 points a few times, but nobody thinks the Steelers are going to be an elite offense. Broncos, I also think they're in the 18 points per game. I think Bo Nix had a great rookie season. I don't think he's going to repeat. They don't have an elite receiver. They don't have an elite running back. The offense is okay, and they're going to be in a tough division, probably the best in the NFL. And I think Bo Nix is going to regress a little bit. Could they get up to that 21 points per game tier? Sure. I think it's more likely they stay in the 18. Next on the list is the Tennessee Titans. Cam Ward. I know they've got some decent receivers over there. The learning curve is going to be tough. He's a new quarterback, new coaching. I think he'll struggle, at least to start the year. If they finish off the year more in that 21 or 18 category, I could see it, but I think they're definitely going to struggle, at least to start. 24 points per game, and they're rating between 27 and 24 for me, is the Buccaneers. Mike Evans is back. Baker Mayfield's back. Bucky Irving. I think it'll be a good offense. It's tweening between good and great. I think they'll be good, maybe great. They're in that middle range. The Detroit Lions. I think they're going to regress a little bit. Look, they scored about 32 points per game last year. I still think they'll be a good offense. I think Goff is getting old. I think all the stars aligned for them last year. They got a lot of fourth down conversions. I just don't suspect they will be as lucky as they were last season. Still a good offense. I don't think they'll be elite. A team that I think everyone is expecting to be this high-flying offense is the Rams. And look, the guy that got traded for Jared Goff, Matthew Stafford, he was good in the 2010s. At this point, he's a bit overrated. Now the receiving core is elite. They got Nakua, they got Devontae Adams. They're going to be passing the ball well. I think Stafford's going to be pedestrian this year. I don't think Stafford's this top 5 quarterback that everybody sleeps on. I think he's going to be average. I think the receivers will carry. I think they'll be an above average offense. I don't think Stafford's that guy. 15 points per game, the New York Jets. Look, Justin Fields can't throw a football. Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall are both good. If they just do like some wildcat action, trick plays, some nonsense, they could be an okay offense, I guess, with all that speed and talent. They don't really get me all that excited. Super Bowl winners, Philadelphia Eagles. I'm going to put them in 24. I think the offense, they won the Super Bowl, so everyone's like, oh, they were so great. The offense had a lot of issues down the stretch, and, winning the Super Bowl helps out a lot. Saquon Barkley is not going to be the number one rusher in the league again, back-to-back years. after 400 carry a year. They're probably going to be some injuries. The offensive line is getting older. Jalen Hurts has some passing limitations. I think the offense will be good. And I think out of all the offenses them and the Buccaneers, the two that could move up to 27. But I'm feeling 25 points per game. It's going to be a good offense. But to expect them to be elite again, I'm a little skeptical. Another team on the list, the Buffalo Bills. Look, Josh Allen was able to make it work on the back of an MVP season with relatively no-name receivers, tight ends, two early draft picks, first and second round. James Cook, who's probably holding out, it looks like at the time of this recording. I think they'll be good again. When Josh Allen's the quarterback, the offense will be good. I just, I don't see them being as efficient as they were last year. I really don't see it. Next team on the list is the Washington Commanders. Now, Jaden Daniels was excellent last year, super efficient. I think a lot of people forgot about that midseason stretch where he was pretty average, or even below average, some would say. Receiving core is good. They're good. And Jaden Daniels is excellent. I think he will be excellent throughout his career. I think this year is going to be some regression. I think it's tough to expect that you're just going to be the rookie of the year by a large margin, top half quarterback, and then do it again. I think they'll score about 22 points per game. I think it'll be a rate above average offense to average. But I think it's crazy to expect Daniels to be a top 5 quarterback and then progress to be the number 1 quarterback. I find it pretty unlikely. Another team that 21 points per game is going to be the Sam Darnold-led Seahawks. I'm not a big Sam Darnold guy. I do think the addition of Cooper Kupp, as well as Jackson Smith-Njigba with Kenneth Walker, I think it's just a solid team all around. Got a lot of average pieces. I'm viewing them as like a 20.5. Right above that 20 mark points per game. I don't think they're going to be crazy. Los Angeles Raiders. Now, I do think the offense is going to be a little bit better than the Steelers and the Broncos with Geno Smith, Ashton Genty, Brock Bowers. It feels like a run-first team with Pete Carroll. They're going to really churn out the clock, less possessions, close games. And the offense, I don't think it'll be anemic. I just don't think they're going to be throwing the ball all that much, and they're not going to be throwing it down the field. Los Angeles Chargers, I think they are going to be more explosive this year. Now, they just drafted another running back. I get that. Omarion Hampton. They signed Najee Harris. The running back core it's outstanding. I suspect they're going to let Herbert unleash it. I don't think they're going to kind of hold him hostage again, make him run the ball every play. It was like a 50-50 split last year. I think it's going to be more like a 62-38 split, 62 being the passing. They're going to let him air the ball out. And when Herbert throws it, he's got a big arm. I think they're going to be an efficient offense. I think they're going to be a good red zone offense. And I think they'll score around 24 points per game. New Orleans Saints. Listen, I'm a Spencer Rattler truther. I think he's super underrated. I don't even know who's playing for them. Derek Carr, he retired and then donated the money back that they owed him. I don't really understand what's going on with that. Chris Olave is maybe playing. Depends on how he feels. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with this team. I really don't. And I don't expect them to. They don't know either. This one's going to be hot. This one is going to be hot. I think the Atlanta Falcons are going to be an elite offense. Michael Penix is super underrated, and I mean super underrated. Drake London, Kyle Pitts, Bijan Robinson in a dome, in a weak conference, they are going to put points up this year, I promise you. Russell Wilson led Giants. Look, Russell Wilson is an off-season warrior. He's a good guy. He shakes everyone's hand. He donates money to the local food banks. It's great. By October, you're going to be asking to start Dart. I mean, the Seahawks, or not Seahawks, I don't know why I keep saying Seahawks. Malik Neighbors is excellent, but Malik he'll spot you a touchdown every game. Other than that, I don't know. Baltimore Ravens. Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, they got off to a little bit of a slow start last year. I think Isaiah Likely's going to step up in a big way. I think Bateman is as well. And I wouldn't be surprised if this is once again one of the most efficient offenses in the NFL. Next team on the list is the Minnesota Vikings. You got Justin Jefferson, you got Aaron Jones, you got Jordan Addison. I'm not a big J.J. McCarthy believer, I will admit that. But when you got the play caller, when you got all those weapons as well, got to be at least okay. I don't suspect they're going to be 14-3 again, 13-4. I think there's going to be some regression. I still think they'll be okay at least. A team that everyone's just kind of given up on is the Miami Dolphins. Like, they got Tyreek, they got Waddle, they got A-Chain, Tua when healthy, especially when it's hotter outside. People, it's like, if the Dolphins led the NFL in points this year, would anyone be surprised? Tyreek Hill wins Offensive Player of the Year. Would anyone really be that surprised? It's like everyone just gave up on this team. They're acting like they're not going to be the second best team in the AFC East. It's crazy. Jacksonville Jaguars, I think they're going to, Lawrence has got to get it together this year. If it's not this year, I don't know when it's going to happen. Hunter, I'm not really that sold on him, but I think as the number 2 wide receiver, I think with ETN, with Bigsby, I think they're in between that 21 and 24 categories. Bryce Young and these Panthers, you know what? I'm feeling nice. I'm going to give them 21 points per game. Tedero McMillan, Xavier Legette, Jonathan Brooks coming back. Bryce Young has got to put it together. He's gotten lucky with that second half of the season where he played great. I think he's got to get it together this year, at least okay. Will he be the starter next year? Probably not. But he's got to be okay, right? Next team on the list is going to be the Chicago Bears. Caleb Williams, he's going to step it up this year. I'm not a big Caleb Williams guy. I think Ben Johnson will help out a little bit. You've got to. The Bears, with all of those weapons, Caleb Williams, number 1 overall draft pick, offensive coordinator, mega mind. They're gonna be okay offensively. Now, it's a tough division. I don't know if they're gonna make the playoffs, but they're gonna be okay. Cleveland Browns. Seriously, it's like trying to keep all this in frame. It's the Cleveland Browns. Like, seriously, they got Jerry Jeudy, who is a super sleeper. Other than Jerry Jeudy, it's like, what are we doing? Who are you starting at quarterback? Maybe you throw 4 quarterbacks back there, tell them to hold hands, spin around, and the defense won't know who's going to throw the football. It's probably the best shot they got. Green Bay Packers. I'm gonna keep them in 24. Jordan Love, he's getting a bit overrated at this point. Now, they did just draft a wide receiver in the first round, Matthew Golden. They've got a lot of those guys that are 2s. They've got like 3 2s. Matthew Golden just feels like another 2. They don't have that elite receiver. They don't have that Devontae Adams. They don't have that bell cow running back. It's Jordan Love, who's above average, and then an above average supporting cast, but nobody's elite per se. CJ Stroud, look, I think they're going to be an elite offense. I think he is going to solidify himself as that Lamar Jackson, Burrow, Allen, Mahomes category. He's legit. Nico Collins is going to be the number 1, one of the top guys in fantasy this year. They are elite, and they are coming. Cincinnati Bengals, I'm going to put them in this category. I think the offense will be about as good as they were last year. There's going to be some regression, but part of that regression is they're not going to be losing so many games. Probably going to be winning more games, so they won't have to score as much at the end. You got Joey B, you got Jamar Chase, you got T. Higgins. It's like they're going to be good. Indianapolis Colts, I'm going to put them in 18 points per game. Look, they don't have a quarterback. Now, I did drop a video that everyone should watch on how the Colts can be the number 1 offense in the NFL if they listen to my advice. Find it on my page. It was just a couple of videos back. But with Danny Dimes or AR-15 playing how the Colts want them to play, it's going to be a disaster. And the final team on the list, and the team that I think will lead the NFL in points per game, well, trying to reshape them, the Dallas Cowboys. I think they will win their division. I think they're going to score 33 points per game. Now, do I think they're going to win the Super Bowl? No. They're probably going to lose in the first or second round. Well, they're going to lose in the second round because they'll have a bye. The Dallas Cowboys are going to have an elite offense. I think Dak will be the number one quarterback in the NFC this year. I think CeeDee Lamb will have about 1,800 receiving yards. I think George Pickens is going to earn himself a big contract. And I think the two best offenses in the NFL will both be in Texas.